Okay, we have Darren Wildman, our community manager, with us this morning. Welcome, Darren.
Morning.
Thanks for sparing the time to come along.
Not a problem.
Just a little community update, because there's quite a lot been happening, hasn't in the community since we first spoke in. Gosh, when was it when you were appointed?
June.
Was it June?
It'll be June.
There's been a lot going on since then. So, can we just start by having a look at the football side of things? I know your involvement with the academy and the juniors, and we've just launched a new scholarship scheme as well, haven't we? So, do you want to tell us a bit more about
that? The academy side works on a 3-year plan. So we're now into year 1. So we recruit mainly 15-year-olds. So they're playing in the under 18s league, which has been a little bit difficult to start off with, but they're starting to find their feet with the physicality now, because we're asking 15-year-olds to play in some cases against 18-year-old men. They're doing well. They've turned the corner now. They're getting some really good results. Our youth sides are doing fantastic. I think it's, let me just double check, make sure I get this right. Is the under 13s white, the 15s, 16s, or 18s in the community are actually unbeaten in the league.
Very good.
So we're looking at some really good stuff happening in our community sides. But as with all the community teams, we're always happy to take more young players in, coaches, anyone who wanted to come across and join the One Port ethos, come and join us.
I noticed I've seen some interesting messages coming in the last few days through our contact box from people all over the country wanting to get involved in our
I've had some even more interesting ones from further afield. We are running a scholarship programme in an association with Elite. That will provide a full-time education programme alongside full-time football provision. And the scholars will actually play the home games here at Hague Avenue, which is a big plus. So on a Wednesday afternoon they'll play in the National College Alliance. It's a really good standard of football against other National League teams. And obviously you can get in contact with the contact form on the website if you want to look to get involved.
Yeah. Do you think that's something that the club is looking to promote quite a way going forward, the scholarship scheme? It's something we've never really had here, is it? Yeah,
I mean, if you look, there is a raft of other opportunities out and about, but if we don't get involved in it now, we're going to get left behind a wee bit. The education programme alongside the football provision is important, because we're not just teaching them how to play football, we're actually giving them life skills with their education where they can move forward. We do have a partnership with the UCFB, so once they've finished the college they can move through to graduate and they can go and do the higher level studies as well.
Excellent, so that's something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And we've launched that now. There's a trial day on the 24th of February?
Monday the 24th of February.
Yeah. Can anybody come to that? They need to contact you first?
They need to register first. Please don't just show up on the night, because we do set the teams out, so they can contact us either by emailing the community, or they can use the contact form on the website, which is www.southportfc.net.
Brilliant, that's lovely. Okay, moving on to the community issues now. You've been running the breakfast clubs for a while. How are they going?
They're going well. As is often with the case with when you offer someone free, they sort of raise an eyebrow and what's the catch. We have partnered up with Co-op. Yeah. Co-op is providing us all the food. They've been absolutely fantastic. Alison across at Fowl Road and Sean, who's a massive fan of the club anyway, have been superb. But it is free. From 7:30 you can just rock up. We've got the heating on. You can watch Sky Sports or Nickelodeon tunes. Sweetbreads, cereals, tea, coffee. You can even pick one up to go if you want to. We have a couple of lads who always get the toast on the way to work. They drop in, they get a brew and off they go. So it's free, there's fruit, and we're just making sure that people got something in the stomach to start the day off.
Brilliant, that's lovely. Okay, you're going to tell us a little bit about a historical project that you're trying to launch this morning, or we're going to launch over the next few weeks. Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
We've noticed that the club doesn't have an historical footprint, so to speak, so there's no way you can go and actually look at the heritage and the history of the club. 1881 the club's been here. It's a long time. It's got a deep connection to the community, and it's something that we really want to expand. So we're going to do a little bit of a launch soon, a nice big night one night where people can come down, but we're looking for people to get involved in the community who've got a connection to the club. They might have a little bit of memorabilia, they might have a shirt from 1973 or even earlier. If you want to get involved, please give us a shout, but we'll do a big launch on that. It's something that we're really looking forward to getting out. We've got artists involved who are going to do a nice timeline of the club. And then moving forward with that, we're also doing some memorial stuff for people who have passed away in conflicts who were connected to the club. That'll be a permanent display outside the club as well. So moving forward with that, connecting a little bit more with our community and making sure that people are engaged with us as well.
Yeah, is that something we're doing through the National Lottery?
Yeah, the National Lottery involved. We're also doing a little bit, UCLan are advising us a little bit on that. But there is a National Lottery Heritage Fund that we can apply to, and that's in the process of being written now.
Brilliant.
So another few forms for me to fill in.
You like your forms?
I love them.
Okay, I think you've got a few other things you want to tell us about what's going on in the community as well, so fire away.
Here we go, deep breath. it's really important that we get a sustainable community programme. So that's what we've been doing. It might have seemed a little bit quiet over the last few months, but there's been a lot of work going on in the background. We've connected up with Co-op, which we've mentioned. We're going to roll that out even further now to try and give people some access to fruit and veg a little bit more through the week. We know that fruit and veg isn't cheap, but if we can give them access for that for free through Co-op, we can do that. And then from there, we're going to expand that into some cookery workshops. Not everybody knows how to cook veg right, and if you don't cook veg right, it's not the nicest tasting stuff in the world. So we're looking at giving away some free fruit and veg, doing some more sustainable education wise with that, and making sure that people know how to cook it, because it's really important that people make them little tiny lifestyle changes, makes them a little bit healthier, and through that we can start to do a little bit more in the community wise for them. We've got a partnership with Sefton Veterans now, so we're recognising that we're communities has got a lot of veterans and ex-service personnel, and the support that we can give them. We do that through the Royal British Legion as well, so sometimes they pop along. You might have seen them on the memorial game where they did a really good memorial walkout. We've got partnerships with Sefton CVS. You might have noticed on match day sometimes we do have some people with learning difficulties popping in and helping us. We're really keen, and I know the board are really keen, to make sure that those with learning difficulties are a valued part of our community, and if we can give them opportunities on match days to do that, and they've been absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. They are with the golden goal, or the 50-50
the 50-50s, yeah, and the sales have gone up on them. They're brilliant for that. But more importantly, it's giving them a little bit of ownership, and that they can go out and they can be part of the community rather than apart from the community. So that's been expanded into Sefton CVS with their Buddy Up programme. So we've just done one here, and we're doing another in the next couple of weeks where they can pop along and they can help out just with the day-to-day running, the little jobs that need doing around the club, and it gives them a little bit more confidence to go out and do some more. We've also partnered up with MSP, which is Merseyside Sporting Partnerships, so we can start to do some free coaching in the evenings with King George V across the road. So we're trying to get young adults involved rather than sitting around at the local Tesco's and whatnot and annoying people on the bikes. They can come around, they can play a little bit of free football. We'll advertise that when and where, and more importantly, we're getting them a little bit fit, and we're stopping them hanging around, and we'll hopefully address the social issues that can cause as well.
Have we got a venue for that, did you say?
That'll be King George up on the Mugger on the 3G,
right?
Which leads me nicely into the next point, which is we have resurrected the 3G build facility.
Right.
We've got an agreement in kind now with Sefton Council and Meals Cop to build a full-size 3G facility at Meals Cop School. We've got some more meetings next week. A funding application's gone in to the National League, and Football Foundation's been prepped for that as well. But for the first time, we've now got an agreement with Sefton Council. They're very keen to support it, and moving forward into the years, we could potentially expand it into Meals Cop Park. There is no 3G provision in this area. That impacts on our ability to be able to provide education and sport and activities for people. So we're now looking to launch that. It is a relatively quick build once we've got everything in place, but it's just crossing the T's and dotting the I's at the moment. But we have an agreement. It will benefit Meals Cop, it will benefit the local area, because we'll have a facility where, regardless of weather, people can come and get healthy. So kids can play football at weekends, people can come and do multi-sport during the week as well, and can do all the sporting clubs from there.
So that's a link in between the council, the schools and the football club all together, all three
So all
together.
three working together as community should be. It is going to be looking to be built across at the back of Hague Avenue on Meals Cop School, and access points will be provided, but all the plans and everything will go up in time. We've got a big meeting on the end of the month with Meals Cop and Sefton Council, reference the planning. There's already a company that's been done all the bits and bats that they needed to do, and they provided us with the plans now. So moving forward, it's exciting. It'd be nice if we can get that off the ground very quick, and hopefully look to get that built within the next 12 months.
Excellent. Will that give us a venue for the walking football as well? Because, as I say, we've had to hold back.
I can update you happily on that one, Rob. Yesterday we finally got the green light for a sporting grant for the walking football.
Oh, brilliant.
So initially we'll look to launch that again within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going to use King George. I've already spoken to King George about that. We can utilise their facilities. So we've got the kits already. Hamish has been brilliant with that. He's put some kits aside. Liverpool County FA have been superb as well. They're supporting us, but we've got the Grow the Game grant now, which means that initially we can support that without any cost to anyone taking part. And then once it becomes a little bit more sustainable, it'll self-sustain and then move forward. We can get leagues and everything moving forward. So we'll get that off the ground and we'll get that announced when and what nights we're going to do, and we'll get coaches across.
We've got a lot of interest in that, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we want to do alongside launching a disability side as well, because the Access community guys have made a sort of a chat with me saying that they'd like to have their team playing in there. So we've had some chats with Bootle Bucks, who are probably the best club in the Northwest for accessible coaching. They haven't got a lot of coaching, so we are going to do a little bit of a disability tournament, depending on weather, probably more towards summer when we've got the weather's a little bit warmer and whatnot, and then we'll look to launch that in there as well. But the walking football, I would hope will be up within a matter of weeks rather than any longer.
Excellent. No, please, quite a lot of people.
Hopefully, we
have got a long list of people waiting. Is there anything else you want to tell us about?
We're always looking for people to get involved in the community programme. Community is about working together. I did say in the last interview that it was important that we delivered some strands. The community strategy went up, and I'm delighted to say that we have delivered what was in the community strategy, and we're slightly ahead of schedule now. What I would like to do is speak to anyone who's interested in getting involved, whether that be business, schools, people wanting to get involved with the coaching and volunteering at the club. It's all part of the community. If we can make the club the hub of that community, then the club will be more sustainable moving forward, because the community is the club. So just get involved, give us a shout. You can contact me via the website or community@southportfc.net.
So you've been in the role for a few months now. Do you feel it's gone well? Are you enjoying the role?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do more, but obviously we've got to cut the cloth accordingly. The 3G facility build is really important. We have finally resubmitted an application for charitable status. That was looked at very deeply to make sure that goes through. Once we get the charitable status, I'm quite confident, having spoken to the Charities Commission yesterday, and that we can get that through in a matter of weeks, because they do have a backlog. Once we get that through, it opens up a raft of more grants we can do. We can work more with other charities. Certain grant thresholds mean that we have to be a charity. So that's been done, and that's sort of been the bit that we've been beavering around in the background. And the National League have tightened the thresholds for their grants this year, so we just have to make sure that we're ticking all those boxes in the background. So moving forward, it's been difficult, but it's been incredibly rewarding when you see guys here on a match day, the Access community guys, and we have people rocking up in the morning for breakfasts and telling us the stories that perhaps in some cases they can't afford to get out and feed the kids some vegetables or fruit in the morning. Then that's the rewarding aspect from a club point of view, that we're engaging now and people are starting to see that.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Darren.
My pleasure.